welcome to this episode of Playbook Boxing, where we're joined in the studio by Denzel Bentley. Make sure you like, subscribe and follow us to make sure you stay up to date with all the latest boxing chat. Denzel, thank you for coming in. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm good, thanks, man. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room immediately. We did not coordinate outfits and decide to wear exactly the same thing before this shoot. We were actually told by our producer that we had to wear something bright, so
okay, I thought that
we
was
are
the
now
dress code
matching.
for the platform.
Yeah, did you not get the message?
Nah, I didn't get the memo.
Nah, you got the memo. Look at that. How's things, mate? You well?
Yeah, all good, man. I'm all good, thanks, man.
So how does it feel? New WBO middleweight champion.
It's the same, you know. I still have to go in the gym every day and graft and, you know, work towards the next fight. But it's good to have that accolade. That's the box ticked. That was one of my achievements in boxing. It was one of the ones where it's like, you want to be world champion, but you don't know if you're going to get there just because of how the sport translates sometimes. The politics and the opportunities don't always, you know, fall into place. But look, I'm blessed enough and lucky enough to be in the position I'm in and be world champion right now, so I'm happy.
Just quickly, Dennis, talk to us about, you know, like, the people may not understand, you know, they see people on TV, they're boxing and, oh, they're earning well, they're doing well, but the struggles of, you know, pro-life as a boxer are insane. That is tough. Yeah. Then you reach that accolade, you're world champion, you're going, where's the money? Where's the money? But that is the reality of the sport, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of graft, man. It's a lot of graft, and I mean, sometimes you don't always get to reap the fruits of your labour and all that stuff. So, you know, we're just working hard, and now I'm in this position, I can capitalise on it. So it's the next one and the next one. Now it's like, keep winning from here and, you know, I'll be all right. But ultimately you get there and it's just still like, okay, so what's next? Like, this isn't enough to just be like, yep, I can call it a day, I'm done. Because the journey there isn't what what's what I'm looking for. You don't get.
It's
my brain's gone. I was sparring today and I got hit too much.
The fruits of your labour. To get to that point, that's not your earning capacity.
Exactly.
It's hard graft to get there.
It's
and you sacrifice a lot to get there. Like you say, just coming from sparring, losing your memory a little bit in interviews, all that sort of stuff. No, but what I'm saying is, when you get there, you go, right, now it's time to cash in. Let's cash in. Give me the big names.
Exactly.
Who are them big names?
All of them, man. I mean, look, Carlos Adames, I love that fight. We had a bit of back and forth online, but the WBC have shut that down now, so there's nothing I can do about that. Aaron McKenna's just won a world title. I mean, it'll be an honour to fight that guy as well. I think he's a good fighter. Lara, no one can get through. No one can get to that guy. He's in his own world, so there's no point of me even calling him out. But you know, there's opportunities at middleweight. But if there's no unifications or big fights at middleweight, then I'd like to just move up to super middleweight and get the big names there.
I feel like we've just covered about 3 different major topics in one hit there. So I'm going to bring us back and like break it down properly, because when Spence talks there about the difficulties and the fact that now being world champion should open all of the doors and get the money, but also get the big fights. Your route to world champion has been a difficult one in many aspects of it, with the fact that you vacated belts, then you were interim, fights were falling through. The Janibek situation, which we'll talk about in more depth. But when you're sitting there and you're waiting for fights, or you're told that this is happening, you're thinking a post is going to drop any second and it doesn't, and it falls out, and you've vacated belts to be able to then have those fights. How difficult is that? Because if those fights aren't happening, you're not making money, but you're still having to do the training, you're having to still spend the money on camps that you thought needed to be in place to make that fight happen. How is that?
Like, it's just got to make a lot of sacrifices, and like I was saying just earlier, the word I was looking for was the rewards. I don't know how I could have figured that, but you don't get the rewards that you thought you deserve on the journey. So like a lot of the things that you were saying, so like obviously after I beat Brad, that was back in 2024, I was British champion, European champion, and I had 2 international titles. And then along the way, you're getting called mandatories, you're being advised to vacate this because you're going to get a world title shot, because the whole build-up with me and Brad was the winner of this fights for a world title, because it was number 1 versus number 2, however you want to put it. So it was like, okay, the winner of this gets a shot at the world title, and then you get there, and it's not that. The winner didn't get a shot at the world title. I've still got to fight the number 2 again, another eliminator. But that fight is even stalling for whatever reason. I mean, the opponents and their team are moving difficult to work with. Promoters think there's not enough money in it, so they're not rushing to pull it on. But that all affects me. It all affects the fighters, the people that are working hard to achieve these dreams. So these promoters and managers and all these people have their own agendas. They all want to make money, and that's all nice and well, but you got to think about the people that are essentially making you the money. And how are we living? How are we getting on? How is it affecting our mental? Because I could have easily just been like, hey, this ain't worth it. I'm going to work and pack it in. I mean, I did try to find a job, but I wasn't thinking to pack it in. But a lot of people stop boxing because opportunities aren't presenting itself. 16 months out the ring and I've got bills to pay. I've got a son and a family. What am I meant to do? You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be resilient, solid-minded and know what you want to go for. But it is hard. It's a little sacrifice.
Sorry, can I just say this, Charlotte? Just want to jump in off the back of that. And the wild thing is about the sport of boxing, you achieve those accolades, you get those belts. You're talking about British, you're talking about European. They should all have money around these belts. Then you go on to world titles and you're still waiting for that opportunity. That's the bizarre side of the sport that people don't understand, don't see that it is ultimately a business, isn't it? And if those opportunities don't, present themselves to you, if that dance partner, hence the person you're going to fight, is not there, doesn't have that commercial name, then that's the struggles. And like, it sort of blows your mind in many ways because you think with every opportunity that you've got there, that should present itself with money because you're a big character. Yeah. You've got a lot of personality. With all that, and you got the belt, that should present itself. It's quite wild.
Yeah, we'd think that, but like, I'll be honest. Like, someone asked me the other day, like, what advice would I give to a young person trying to become a pro boxer? And I was like, listen, you're better off having 1 million followers than being a world champion. Because, like, I know you're saying I've got personality and all these things. You know me. You've seen me behind closed doors. Maybe my mistake, I didn't put that out there on camera and all these things, but I didn't feel I needed to. I just wanted to be a fighter and do my job and then go home and be who I am around people that know me. But it all mixes in because, like you were saying, I had these 3-time British champion, European champion, but it's like every time you go in there and you're like, okay, what's going on? It's like, oh yeah, the next one we got this for you, and so is the next one. And then you get through that, and then the next one is, it's not that. Then it's the next one again, and you just got to keep going and fighting and getting what's given to you. But now I'm in a position where like I said, I'm fortunate, like all the cards are in my hand for now, as long as I stay champion. But since that, since I've become champion, I've had a big shift in my mindset, And nice. We just see, hopefully it goes well moving forward.
What is that big shift in the mindset? Is it just now things are more on your terms, or is it within yourself and your own ability, or what is the shift?
A bit of both. I mean, my ability, I understand my ability. Like I was saying, I always believed I was good enough to be a world champion. Even though it's crazy, I'd never ever sparred or been around a world champion my whole career. But I felt like, just watching boxing so much, I felt like I had what it takes. Maybe that was a bit of delusion or self-belief, whatever it is, it's worked out. Yeah. But also just the opportunities, you don't know where they're coming from and if you're gonna, because listen, a lot of the champions in the world are in America. Like a lot of the legends in the sport, they're all American, they're all in America. I'm boxing out of the UK, which does present big opportunities, but it's like, when I'm younger and I'm coming through, I'm thinking, am I gonna ever fight Golovkin? Am I gonna fight Charlo? Am I gonna fight Canelo? That just seems unrealistic to me. So it was like, so when do I get my shot? Do you know what I mean? So all these things, but now I just know, okay, now this is my time, my era. I'm one of the top dogs. I just got to do what I can to stay there. And obviously on the other side of that, it's just the sport, the sense of the sport and the business and how it runs and how it goes now. Like you say, I hold a lot of the cards now because I'm champion. So it's just in my mind, it's like, okay, I'm going to use this to my ability to as much pulling power as I can because I'm now a champion. I've reached the top of the sport. I know there's more unifications, undisputed, all that, but that's all for me bonuses. Like, as a kid, no one said, I want to be undisputed champion. That's more recent, since like Terence Crawford was the first undisputed champion. Now everyone's like, my dream's to be undisputed, but before, everyone's just like, I just want to be a world champion.
Well, it also feels like now the era of boxing we're in, because of the money that's been injected into it, it's easier to make those undisputed 100%. Matches, whereas beforehand it was a bit like, money's not there, do I want to risk losing my title or losing my position 100%. Or whatever it is? So now people can think like that actually I want to be undisputed and that can happen. Whereas beforehand, it felt like you'd be putting yourself
at risk for no reason. And people want to capitalize. When they get in this position, you see a lot of world champions fighting fights, oh, why didn't you fight that guy? But they're just fighting the easiest fight for the most money possible. But yeah, just a big shift in my mindset.
Aaron McKenna's now the IBF champion. And that, that would seem the right route to take, really. If you're talking about Undisputed, you're talking about the financial rewards. That's a big fight, you know. He's a big noise over there. The free arena was absolutely packed. Boxing's opening up that territory, you know. Ireland is opening up again. We know they're massive boxing fans. Surely that would be something that would interest you, you know, not just financially, but that journey towards Undisputed.
100%. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, to get someone else that close to home, it's like to make a unification. I think it would be amazing. I think it'd be exciting on both sides. I've always rated America, and I think he's a good fighter. And that's what excites me, just the fact that he's a good fighter as well. And now he's got a title, we can both put something on the line. You know, hopefully make a lot of money and put on a good show. That could be a historic fight. Who knows, down the line in 10 years, people are saying, oh, this fight was a banger. Those are the type of situations I want to be in. But ultimately, it takes, you know, two of us to come together and make that happen. But at the end of the day, if it does happen, I'll be happy. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to hang around and be like, oh, I'll just move on and do something else.
Yeah, when you talk about moving on, you said earlier about potentially moving up in weight, and I always think of it that, like, Hamzah and you, it's like the one that got away, that fight didn't happen, and then he's obviously moved up, and it feels like that could be the fight if you were to move up as well. But what is the route for you? Is it defend X amount of times or become unified, become undisputed? Like, you have to tick that off before you move up, or is it just a case of like, it's the names and it's the big fights, and wherever that leads me, it leads me?
I do want to defend my title just because of the way I want it. It's just, I want to be announced in the ring as a champion, do you know what I mean? So I do want to defend it, but ultimately, it's just whatever excites me, man. There isn't no specific route I want to take. Like, I could move up next, or I can move up in 5 fights. It's just whatever excites me. If there's some exciting fights at middleweight that kind of makes sense to me, I'll stay there.
Yeah.
People jump around the weights a lot more than they used to, especially when I was
definitely.
boxing. It was a big thing. Moving up a weight division was a big thing, but now you just go where that opportunity goes. And it sort of leads me on to this conversation that we were talking about earlier about Janibek and that position that he had with the WBO. We know his story. He was the former champion, got stripped of his title for failing a drugs test.
He didn't, but
didn't get stripped, or they suspended him.
So he was suspended for a year, but he kept hold of his title.
And then they reduced it to 6 months, kept hold of his title. Anyway, you were gone from interim champion, elevated to champion, but he now gets put into the WBO super middleweight rankings as now the guy that's going to box for the title. So the mandatory, sorry, that's what I was looking for. Brain's gone sparring. As the mandatory. Yeah. And that's ruffled a lot of feathers because of the situation. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm going to go off on one quickly, yeah? So the 2 titles he had, he got stripped of the IBF not because he took drugs. He got stripped of the IBF because he was on suspension and he wouldn't have made his mandatory on time. Right. That was a loophole why they stripped him. The second fight, the WBO, they did not strip him. They allowed him to keep his title while he was on suspension, and he was meant to fight the winner of me and Sevilla on his first fight back in December. I only got elevated, not because the WBO felt like the right thing to do is to strip him because he took drugs, because he decided to move up. And he vacated and decided to move up. And naturally, you get elevated if that happens. Okay, cool, that's fine. He moves up now. They've obviously had an agreement as to if he moves up, would he become mandatory? And the WBO have obviously already agreed to that, which is why he moved up. The ban went from a year to 6 months because his governing body in Kazakhstan banned him for 6 months. Yeah. So technically, he's allowed to fight outside of the WBO's rules, because WBO had him for a year. So he's allowed to fight with his license out in Kazakhstan. Yeah. Cool, that's his ban done. He moves up, and there's uproar. But when he was holding his title, when he was just suspended, there wasn't as much uproar as this. No. We all know the governing bodies do what they want to do. For example, you know, I've seen interviews of Hamzah saying it's not right and all this stuff. But let's be honest, when they found a 40-year-old for him to fight for a vacant title that I don't know where he was ranked. He wasn't ranked in the top 5. Eubank was ranked 2nd or 3rd. He should have been in there. Yeah. Now he had another defense against someone that we don't know where he was ranked. Eubank was still 2nd or 3rd. He never got the opportunity. And now Janibek has been called mandatory over Eubank. The only person that should be screaming and throwing a twist at the pram is Eubank, because he's not being treated fairly. Mate, this is my point, and this is where I was going with it. We know Canelo Alvarez is number 1. He's fighting on Billy, so that position is not there. So the mandatory is number 2. Eubank was number 2. How? Work this one out, and you know, the WBO, please explain this. How does he go from number 2 down to number 4 behind Pacheco at number 3?
So he loses his mandatory position and drops down to number 4, and the fight's not even happened. And a guy, Janibek, that has all this controversy surrounding him, goes in at mandatory. It's like you're rewarding people for certain situations, and that's the bit that gets my back up.
But he was never rightfully punished anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you're rewarding, like, let's have it right. He failed a drugs test, right? So you're rewarding a drugs cheat with a mandatory position in a super middleweight fight. So like, what sort of message is that sending off to the young kids? Because we're seeing it with these sanctioning bodies, that they are allowing certain situations to happen, and because of the controversy surrounding it, creates the noise, creates the numbers. We live in a world of numbers, so you're getting rewarded for it. It just blows my mind.
Yeah. Sorry,
No, go.
No, I think it's mental.
Sorry to go off on one.
It's true though, because I don't even think he should have still been champion when I should have been able to fight for the title at the time. So I think the right thing to probably do is, even if he didn't ban him, strip him and let him know he's snakes and ladders. You go all the way back down to the beginning and you go build yourself back up. You cheated, that's your problem. He hasn't been treated like that. So what should we really expect from these people? Like, they do what they want. Yeah. When Canelo was suspended off Clenbuterol, I'm sure he got to keep his title and first fight back. He fought Canelo on a big payday. So who cares if you're sitting out for that long? He's probably just recovering from all the injuries and niggles he had anyway. So you're probably doing him a favour. So it's just how the game goes, and it's always been like that. It's always been like that, and there hasn't been enough noise because fans, the media, people in charge, promoters are just going along with it. I mean, as a promoter, these guys or managers or whatever it is, they're in contact with these governing bodies. They're I wouldn't say friends, but they have relationships with them. You got to put in emails and enforce, like, yo, we are not having this. Yeah. If you have to, then just like, we're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing it. And then you have to make a stand collectively to make these guys understand you can't make up the rules as it goes along. Yeah. But no one's doing that. Why? Because everyone's getting paid and no one cares.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate and just put some context around the failed drugs test for people that maybe are watching and don't know too much information about it, and you guys can dispute it, pull it apart, whatever you want to do with it. So the WBO is saying the reason why he still held on to the title was because of the circumstances around the test. So with the IBF, for example, it is just strict liability and that's it. Like, you fail, doesn't matter how you've done it, whatever. With the WBO, they were saying that because Janibek tested, he went into hospital in May 2025, I believe it was. He had to have an emergency procedure. Within that procedure, they said that it was like a mini stroke he was having, not enough blood was going to the back of his head. They had to give him the drug that he tested positive for. Same drug that Sharapova in the tennis tested positive for. We know that it improves cognitive function and recovery and everything like that. He then had that procedure. About 6.5 months later, or around about that, he then had a random test. He tested positive for that. The drug that he took, it stays in your system for about 9 months, so it was going to show. They didn't get a TUE at the time, they didn't declare it, they didn't do all of those things. So the reason why the WBO then said, well, you've tested positive and you haven't taken the right protocol to alleviate the charges as such. But they have said, because of the circumstances, that it was an emergency procedure and all of that, that he wasn't going to be stripped, but he still had to have the ban, is their reasoning for him keeping the title. So I guess the conversation is, should it be strict liability that no matter what?
It is strict liability, because does it give you an advantage in your sport, in your area, in your performance? If it does, then you was going to use that advantage to go and fight someone and have benefit of those advantages, right? Yeah. You know you have to go through that procedure. You have a mini stroke. You got to tell the board or governing bodies what's going on, and then take that time out to recover for yourself and say, look, I've got this in my body, whatever the situation was. And that's fine, but it's still strict liability.
Yeah, I think
Liam Cameron got a 4-year ban for cocaine. That doesn't improve anyone's performance.
No, exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Joseph Parker went through the same thing just more recently.
Exactly.
The same thing, but it's all bullshit, if I'm totally honest. This whole thing about, oh yeah, there's a reason that... If you're an elite athlete, you're operating at that level. Janibek was a top amateur, so he understands the testing regime. He understands what goes in and around of it.
And if he doesn't, his team does.
If he doesn't, his team does. But he does, right? So he goes in for that procedure, whatever it was, 6 months ago, and it was with this drug that was in his system, and now it's all materialised. Oh, it was actually an operation I had 6 months ago, all that stuff. I don't buy that, because they understand it. They know the procedure. You're an elite athlete, right? You go through that, you go, oh, right. you get forms, right? So when you get your forms, it says you have to declare on the back if you've taken anything, if you haven't taken anything on your drug testing.
That's where I think you've gone really wrong.
Come on, mate. Like when you're at this level and you're an elite athlete that's been there in the amateur game the way that you have done in the professional ranks, you know the procedure.
You got to declare
Don't
it,
drop that afterwards. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do that one. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's all like everyone has an excuse, and there's always a. Do you know what I mean? It's called strict liability for a reason, right? And as a professional athlete, when you're operating at a certain level, Denzel, you'll know yourself when you're doing it. You can't all of a sudden something appears in your drug testing when you've had a drug testing go, oh, I don't understand how that's got there. You do. That is the reality of it. But there's always an excuse, and some people can get themselves out of it or whatever. In this situation, I think it's just a big excuse.
No, it is, but it's been happening for. Like, I can read off a list of fighters.
Yeah.
Oscar Valdez, failed the drug test, still got to box. When Dalton Smith fought Subriel Matias, failed the drug test, still got to box. Canelo got a slap on the wrist, 6-month ban, got to box in another massive fight. Like the list goes on. Like it's just there's a lot of, even here in the UK, there's a lot of fighters that have been through this process, and like even the situation with Joseph Parker, like you said. 3 months for something Liam Cameron got 4 years for.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like it's pick and choose. Like these guys are all making you money, so it's fine.
Listen, we had it with the Conor Benn situation as well. You know, he failed 2 different tests that he couldn't give the reasons and explanation for that one. But yet, while that process was going on, you was allowed to box over in America, and you was allowed.
But that's the thing. How do we fix that? Because even in the Janibek situation, there were 3 different commissions or bodies that all had different rulings and different findings, and everything with that whole situation was so messy.
Yeah.
How do we fix that then if we're kind of saying it needs to be a level playing field and it needs to be strict liability or whatever it is? How do we now get boxing into a position where this doesn't happen?
I think it's quite simple. Every sanctioning body, every governing body sings off the same sheet.
Literally,
it's not even difficult.
That's it.
Right? Oh yeah, we've got different rules for different things. A drug is a drug, right? A PED is a PED. We're in a game. Look how hard it is. Where Denzel's like, he's knocking his bollocks out, day in, day out, to support his family, to give his family a future, right? But he's doing it the clean way. And he's grafted, he's done it British, European, world title, got there, still waiting for that big payday. But he's done it the right way. And then you get other people that are taking performance-enhancing drugs to improve their performance. Well, what happens if someone that Denzel boxes that has a performance-enhancing drug in him goes and damages Denzel and you know, either takes his life or he can't live that quality of life anymore, and his wife's got to take care of him, and he doesn't see his children grow up the way that he does, because that's the reality of the game that we're in. It's combat sport, it's a hurt business, 100%. Right? So let's start on a level playing field. That's my point.
And I completely agree with that, and I think it should be. But
but
how do we get there?
Because quite simple. There's a rule. There's a simple rule for it, right? Whether you say, right, so that you get caught with a performance-enhancing drug in your system, right? That is an instant 5-year ban, right? Strict liability. But what I'm saying, Charlotte, is everyone has a different rules for different.
No, but that's what I mean. We almost need an overarching body or something to enforce it with all of them.
Well, if all these governing bodies to get together and explain why they feel these rules are this way and that way, then maybe they can get together and be like, okay, cool, we can accept that, but let's all try and have the same, like Spencer, sing off the same hymn sheet. But they're not. Everyone's just worried about their business and their space. But for example, like Dalton Smith, when he fought Matias, they said the level was so low that it was okay. But in the UK, he would have been banned.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to travel to another country to fight under their rulings, but in my country, I can't have these same rulings. It's like, what do I do? What can I don't understand these rulings. It's like, for example, Billy Joe Saunders, when they did nasal spray and he failed a drug test against Demetrius Andrade. What was it? It was in one governing body or one tested agency. It was like out of camp you can do it, and in camp, but in competition, And it's like, come on, like
what is it?
What is it? Yeah. One or the other. You're finding loopholes for people.
And for the Matias situation, when a fighter gets caught with traces of there's a trace in it because it's at the end of the cycle. It's clean. Like if there's a trace there, that means you've been doing it, because that is the boxer's the greatest answer for a boxer. Well, there's traces. That's contamination. So there's only a trace there. Yeah, because that's what happens. That is the game. That is the reality of it. Something
can't be in your system if you've never taken.
That's my point. It doesn't
my
matter.
my DNA
doesn't
can't be in this
matter.
room if I haven't been in it before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
You're not going to find, oh, there was a robbery. Oh, I was in another country. Then you find my fingerprints over there on the curtains. So, oh, but because I was in there, innit?
Have you been in that property
hell.
before? I can't remember. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's mental. But that's the game, innit?
And
that's what we have to deal with. So.
And I think we're all singing off the same hymn sheet here that we want it to be fixed, and it's not fair the way that it all turns out at the moment. Even I know we were just discussing it in more depth, but Hamzah now is also in a position where he's like, well, kind of have to fight Janibek, but is that the right thing in this situation? I mean, I can't see Hamzah saying no to it, but do you think that he's been put in an uncomfortable position by it?
Playbook Boxing is powered by our friends at Betway. For exclusive acquisition offers, free bets and much more, download the Betway app now.
Yeah, definitely, but it's up to him essentially what he does, isn't it? I mean, when I remember going online and saying Dalton Smith shouldn't fight Matthias, and I was like, nah, stand your ground. We don't entertain drug sheets. Don't give him a payday. And he went in there and knocked him out. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather that. So I'm saying you done it the clean way. And you knocked him out. So whatever you took didn't benefit him. So it's up to him what he does. To be honest.
And I think because that situation now been highlighted, obviously Janibek, there'll be a close eye on him. You know what I mean? He'll recognise that as well.
Definitely.
And so for Hamzah, you go, you feel sorry for him because you go, he's the champ. He's in now a position where because the WBO has made this guy, has mandated this guy, so now Hamzah has to pay the price for that by going, I'm not fighting him, will we strip you of your title? Then all them paydays are gone. So he's in a sort of like lose-lose situation where you go, well, to make it a win-win situation, I have to box this guy and beat this guy. So, therefore, I have to box the guy. So from Hamzah's point, he's sort of been backed into a corner a little bit. So he's going to have to go through with the fight, or the WBO will penalise him, not the guy that's...
I think Hamzah's in a fortunate position, regardless though, like if he honestly feels like what they're doing is wrong, I feel like he can stand his ground and still get the paydays and another title shot and all these other things that, that comes with the game. I don't think he's in a position where he has to fight.
Yeah.
Right? If he wants to, then go ahead. But I feel like if he was to say, nah, I'm standing my ground, I'm not fighting him and blah, 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 I think the public will take his side.
Yeah, I
Whereas
agree.
other fighters aren't in that situation. Other fighters, they do that and it's like, oh, look at you're ducking, you're scared and this, that, or they won't get another opportunity because you're not a big profile or you don't bring money anyway, so that was your only value. So if you let go of that, then see you later, mate. So he's in a fortunate position. He can do what he wants. So I'm not really, it's a bit harsh, but the situation is bad, but I don't really feel sorry for him because he's in a good position.
Yeah.
Yeah. With your position at the time as well, it was almost like timing is such a massive thing for boxers. Like you are having to wait to see the outcome of the test. Like, is he going to be stripped? What's going to happen? He held on to the belt. Then he suddenly decided, actually, I'm going to vacate and I'm going to move up. Like, timing for boxers is so precious that people don't even think about it. Like, you want to be active, you want to be getting these fights because that fight leads to this fight. That means this can happen and this payday comes. Do you think that also rulings on things need to be quicker so that then people can just get on with it?
Definitely, because you're dealing with people's lives here. We're not on a salary. We don't get paid weekly or monthly or whatever. Like, we get paid when we compete. And if I can't compete for that accolade because he's banned, so I got to serve his sentence, what do I do in the meantime? Do I wait till he's back? Do I take the risk and fight another dangerous fight that could have potentially been a defense and worth more money? Because now, remember, my pay goes down because I'm not a champion. Now I'm a champion, it's different. So if you're fighting the same person as a champion and not a champion, budgets are different. You're getting paid differently. So you're affecting my livelihood because your decision and you don't want to look bad and break the relationship with this guy's team and his management. So that's what it is. Like I said, all these people, governing bodies, managers, promoters, they all have their own agenda and it's always different from the fighters, literally. Like even when a fighter doesn't take a fight, 9 times out of 10, the managers advise them not to. But the fighter wouldn't mind going there. I could do with that payday, but they're advised not to because the manager and promoters and everyone has different agendas.
You've travelled a tough road to get to where you got to. Like you say, there's a lot of sacrifices. People don't see that sacrifice and how hard that is. You know what I mean? Doing little jobs on the side and all that sort of stuff while you're, at this position. You're now world champion. What is the dream fight for you as world champion now? Like, you want those opportunities to come, but obviously you want to be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
So where is that then? So have you had any thought about that? When would the fight be happening? Like, are these conversations happening right now?
Yeah, slightly. My team are having conversations and stuff like that. But I'll be honest though, Spence, I don't have a dream fight, I don't have a dream fight. I did before, but there ain't no real names that make me think this is a dream fight.
But when I say that, so look, So let's use an example. Like, so let's say a Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
You go, there's a lot of commercial value with that.
100%.
There's a big name there. So for me, in your position, I go, that's the fight that I want. Because now this is a thing where I want to monetize it. Yeah, of course I want the unification fights and I want the Aaron McKenna's, but looking at it, Aaron McKenna's much tougher fight for that, and I'm probably going to get half the money that I'm going to get there. So what I'm saying is there is a time where you've knocked your bollocks out to get where you got to. So now you want to cash in a little bit. Yeah, of course you want the big fights as well, but if there's an opportunity there for a big commercial name, that's where you go.
What's so crazy? You said that because Eubank Jr. was a fight I wanted for a long time, but I didn't think I had that. Well, I didn't have the commercial value to attract that sort of fight. And obviously he said in the past he wanted to be a world champion because that's the only thing he hadn't achieved. And now I am one. I felt like that's a fight I could get. But looking at it closely, I'm looking at the guy, and I'll just be honest, I just don't think he's in the right state to even be boxing. And that's no disrespect. Like, I'm a Chris Eubank Jr. fan. It's only because I'm a competitor with the same weight is why I call him out and I want to fight him, because it'll be an honour to share the ring with him. But I look at him now and I'm just like, you know what? Not in a disrespectful way, I just don't even think it's fair or right. I'm in my prime, like physical prime, and I think he's at the end of that cliff.
Sure.
And like you said, fighters can get hurt and all these things. And we saw in his last fight, his last 2 fights, he ends up in hospital, dehydration, all these things. I mean, until I see him come back and look like, and see that spark in him and say, hey, this guy can still fight. Other than that, listen, go make your money in your kind of fantasy fights. Yeah. And it's not something I want to be involved in. Yeah.
I respect that a lot.
One of the fights that is being kind of touted for Chris at the moment is that Kell Brook fight. Yeah. Everyone is discussing that and saying that either negotiations are happening or have happened for it. Obviously, that means Kell would be coming out of retirement. You've said there about Chris maybe not being in the best place at the moment. Then you've got someone who hasn't boxed in years and coming out of retirement. Would you want to see a fight like that? Do you think there's a space for it, or do you think that people should know when to walk away and call it?
They should. People should know when to walk away, but they got big names. I'm not going to lie and say I won't watch it. I'd watch it, but I'm not excited for it. If negotiations fell through, I'm like, yeah, good man. But I'd watch it. I don't know if it's a show I'd go to, but I like boxing, so I'd tune into it. Hopefully, it's got a good undercard, but it's not really. I think they should know when to walk away.
I think we live in a world now where there is a home for that. Like, what I'm saying is that where the guys are putting that hard work, and now they're seeing there's an opportunity there now to make big money. Kell Brook, you know, whether you like it or not, the casual fan will go, oh, actually, I remember those names. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Of course,
Chris, I'll actually watch that one. So the commercial value is there, and these guys are now recognising it. And for me, I'm looking at that going, I don't mind that, because if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't. But it hits a certain market that people will see it, and if you can monetize of it, I know the shit that they have to go through to get to where you are right now, and you're still going, where's that money? Yeah. Well, there's an opportunity for these fighters now to come back and nick a couple of quid. So why not?
And it's funny.
I'm not saying they haven't earned money, but I'm saying they can
still. You still got the value. Go ahead, make your money, but just do it in a situation where it's not dangerous. Like, don't come and fight a young hungry lion. You fight someone that's in a
that's why it works.
I have an issue with it is when it's like.
Well, that's why it works. Kell Brook and Chris Eubank Jr. are at that stage of their careers where you go, you're on that level.
Yeah, perfect matching. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then, like, even saying that,
Denzel Bentley.
but like, even saying that, it's funny because it's like, boxers like generally like can be haters. Yeah. Because when the Misfits things start coming through, we're like, well, why should they earn all that money? They don't put in the work we put in, blah blah blah. I was like, bro, if you can make your money, go make your money, man. Like, that's not on you. That I'm not making money because I ain't got the commercial value you do. Like, with these guys, whatever they do, they'll make money. Like, they've got a space, like you said, Kell Brook and Eubank Jr. They can be in reality TV. They can be on Celebrity Get Me Out, any of them shows, because they have that commercial value. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not mad at it, but it's like, okay, we can take something from that and build your commercial value, and then go out there. Maybe you can get these fights too, because you put me in the ring of KSI for $1 million. I'm not going to be angry at that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Now I think that you've got that. You've got that label now as a world champion, and one day you will be a former world champion. Yeah. Do you think that value now, looking at it in the world that we live in today, there will be an opportunity there of some form, one way or another? I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is, whether that's into reality TV, whether it's into a boxing match with one of these YouTube stars or whatever. But because you are now WBO world champion, after your career finishes, you may still be able to monetize in the ring at some sort of capacity.
Yeah, but I think I'd have to capitalising that now, just build my value.
I was going to say, you can't think
yeah.
about that now.
No, I'm not, but I'm just,
Still
it
feel
just
like
come to me just as we were having these conversations, and we've run off on a conversation where I didn't even think we were bloody going today, if I'm honest. But I'm just sitting there thinking, you know what, now he's WBO champion, whatever happens in his career, whether you earn loads of money or not, there's going to be, that was my point, there's going to be big opportunities for you after your career because of the WBO title. No, and that's where we're at now.
I also got to have some iconic fights that people remember. So when they do think of me, they're thinking, oh, he could fight that. You know what I'm saying? I got to have, and I did at British level, but on the world scene, I haven't. So everyone in the UK kind of knows my value, but on the world stage, unless you're actually that much into boxing, you probably don't. So I got to get into those kind of fights, and I think so. But one thing I will say, when I walk away from the sport, I ain't coming back, man. I'm not doing all the extra stuff. I don't think I have it.
Not going to do a Tyson Fury 5 times retired.
No. Once I actually walk away, I just leave it like, because it's hard, bro. Like, it's hard, like, it's hard.
Would you walk away from it completely, as in, like, not want to coach, manage, be in TV, or?
I need time off, like, maybe the TV stuff I'll do straight away, but coaching takes the same commitment as fighting. So
I've got to jump in there, mate. Like, he's sensational at commentary.
Oh, thank you, Spence.
No, you are, mate. And I'm actually being serious there, because we work together a lot. We do a lot of the small hall shows. We do a little bit on TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel and everything else. His future is definitely there. Now he's got that WBO title. I think, fuck, I've got to watch my back. Got this young lion coming up, breathing down my neck. Spence, you're looking a bit old there, but get out of the way.
Grim Reaper standing over your shoulder.
I come hobbling in. Like. No, but what I'm saying is he has a future within the sport. That's where your future lies, I think, because you're an excellent analyst, man. And I think that's now, you know, I think that's where you will eventually be.
No, I appreciate that.
Questions on you. We're talking about marketing and building a profile or a fight, and also current kind of world champions. Leads me on to Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia, just because world titles on the line. There's a lot of build-up, let's say, to that. There's so many different narratives. You sparred Conor, right, before, was it the first Eubank fight?
First Eubank fight, yeah.
What do you make of Conor having shared rounds with him yourself? Like, there's a big conversation about whether he's at world level, whether this is too soon for him, whether he can make the gap. What have you experienced from him in the ring?
With Conor, a lot of people give him some stick, and I can't say it's for no reason, but I think, like, outside of everything, his boxing ability, he's improved a lot. Like, irrespective of what that is because of, he's improved a lot. When I sparred him because I sparred him before the first Eubank fight, before the madness happened. And then I sparred him again after the first actual fight, and the difference was impressive. He was a lot physically stronger. He still had that same intensity, punches with everything. So there's
the second time you sparred him.
Yeah, punches with everything. So there's a lot of weight behind his punches, and he listens a lot, especially to Tony and Pedro, his trainers that were doing his corner at the time. And I remember, like, even after sparring, he'd ask questions. So he's always willing to learn and pick up stuff. And I actually think it's a good fight. When people say this world level and all these things, I'm like, I don't think the gap is that crazy. It's just about, like you were saying earlier, timing. It's who you get at that time. Because let's think about it. Ryan Garcia, we think he's a phenomenal fighter, right? Am I right in saying that? We think he's an amazing fighter. He'd never been world champion until the other day when he fought Barrios. He lost to Romero when no one thought he would. As a 135 pounder, never fought for a world title, didn't want to. Never, like, he had the opportunities there because he was a star.
Davis.
And he never, like, fought Javante Davis, and whatever happened there. People can say whatever they want. He took the knee and didn't get up. Cool, that's fine. Goes up to 140, doesn't do nothing there, and then has an easy picking, which is disrespectful as world champion, in Marius Barrios. So we can't think Marius Barrios is world level and not think Conor Benn is. Because I think if that was the fact that he had, Conor could have beat Marius Barrios.
I think Conor Benn is. I think that Conor Benn is a much improved fighter, and he is good. Like you say, until you box at that level, you don't know if they are that level. But when you're judging, you go, you know what? Maybe he is. My big concern is 147.
That's the concern.
He hasn't made it for 4 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And this is another thing about the sanctioning bodies and how they blow you away.
And this is what I'm saying.
You haven't boxed at 147
I know.
for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? You come back at 160. You have 2 fights at 160, and then the sanctioning body, the WBC, put you in mandatory with 2 weight divisions below that, even though you haven't boxed there. And then your last fight you boxed at 150, so you're still in the super welterweight division, and you're mandatory. So you're actually getting a world title shot at the WBC title, which, to be fair, he's always called for, so you have to respect that. Now he's talked the talk, now he walks the walk, but you're getting the opportunity off the back of what? Your name. and the commercial value that's around that at the moment.
Look, another thing, like it's the same situation with Hamzah and Jacob Bank. Suleiman Sissoko is number 1 or 2 of the WBC. He got bypassed by Ryan Garcia because he wanted a title shot. He didn't get his title shot. He fought eliminators upon eliminators and won them. Conor Benn comes in, hasn't fought at the weight for 4 years, and then Sissoko has to sit at it again. But what I'm trying to say is, everyone's happy with the corruption in the sport when it suits them.
You, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, when it suits them. So that's
fair.
why it's never going to change. Because as long as the law's on my side, what do I care about anyone else?
Yeah,
no one cares about being fair unless you're treated unfairly. Same situation with Hamzah and WO, same situation now with the WBC. The only people that can kick up a fuss are the people that fought eliminators, are ranked 1 and 2, and still can't get a title shot. But like I said, look, over here, I'm a Brit. I know Conor, I sparred him, spent time with him. I'm happy he's got his opportunity. But at the same time, was that the right choice from the WBC? It wasn't.
Of course.
But back to the fight, I mean, I just, the 147 is the only thing that I'm worried about, because when I was out there sparring with him, he did feel really strong, and obviously he was walking around heavier than 147 or 150. He's probably about 170 at the time, because he had to make 160. And he felt strong, and I felt that suited him because he didn't have to, he's a hard worker. And that probably, sometimes when you overtrain, the weight sticks on you. So it's hard to get that weight off as well. You got to rest and let your body repair and do what it's doing. When you're always training, your body holds on to stuff to be able to keep up with the work rate. So making that 147, I think it's going to be hard, especially when he fought Regis Prograis. He went up to 150, and there was a video of his body fat percentage less than 5%. I mean, it's not just going to be hard; it's going to be really dangerous. And like, I'd rather he didn't, but at the same time, he's making a whole load of money, and he gets a chance at a world title shot. But if he can't make that weight, then it's going to be hard, but I think he can beat Ryan.
The way he's kind of said, he's hinted at the fact that regardless of the result, this is going to be his last fight at 147, which makes me think that it's going to be tough to get to 147. Like, if you're already thinking, I'm only doing this one more time.
I said it to him after the first fight. I said, bro, you're not making 147 again. And I didn't know what he weighed. I just felt the intensity. I said, you ain't making 147 again.
Listen, he looked very good at 160. And that's probably where we're talking about him maybe going down to 154, but will the opportunity be there?
154 is a good weight for him, man. I think 160, a lot of us are big.
154, there's some tough fights out there. He's seen that as the best opportunity is Ryan Garcia down at 147. 100%. Denz, making the weight is one thing, but maintaining the strength, the stamina, all of that stuff. Like, all the work you put in doesn't mean shit if you're dead at the weight.
That's it.
Because you become like, the physicalities just leave your body.
It's gone. Like you're not there mentally as well. Like your body's there, but you can't even think about what you want to do. Like when your weight drops.
And I remember when I was cutting weight, especially towards the end of my career, and obviously what happened. It was because I was struggling that much to make the weight. But when you get hit with a jab, bum, like that, it feels like someone's just cracked you with an iron bar. It goes boom, and it's just weird, man. Like you just go, you get hit, bum, 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 and you're going, bum. Like it's just
it
like
shakes your whole.
Because there's no fluid around in and around your brain and whatnot.
The brain's hitting straight off the cranium.
It is a worry. Let's hope that he maintains his strength. He does.
Look, he's got a good team around him. A team of full professionals, nutritionists, strength coaches, everyone. So I guess like when he does make the weight, the way he will rehydrate will be very, very professional and correct. But it's just if his body soaks up the nutrients in time for him to be fully 100%. Because Conor can fight. I'll be honest, like he could go out there and beat Ryan. I don't think people say Ryan's skill factor, blah blah. He throws a hook with his eyes closed. Like he does a lot of things wrong. He throws his chin up in the air, and Luke Campbell clipped him with an over. He went up like because he does a lot of things wrong. But he's got a lot of things that he does that work. He's very fast. He's quick. He can punch. Obviously, the shots you don't see coming are the ones that hurt you. But like we've seen, if Rolly Romero's can bully him around and beat him. Conor's technically better than Rolly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, that's also what Conor's saying is like, if I can carry that weight down, or at least half of that weight, or whatever it is, the power, down, and he's calling Ryan Garcia a quitter because we spoke about the Tank Davis fight and so on. But like, do you think that genuinely could be quite problematic for Ryan if he maybe has that mindset and also Conor's carrying that power? Do you think we could see almost a shock like that?
We could if he's fit and healthy at the weight. But it's getting harder to believe, especially with the speculations. And I believe Conor will do everything he can to make that weight. Like I said, he's a hard worker. I've seen it firsthand. But Ryan has now seen all this. He's getting more confident. He's laughing, saying, this guy's finished. Like, one, he's not good enough for me. And two, he's struggling to make weight. He's gone. So he's going to go in there overconfident. And if Conor is drained, then it could be dangerous. He could end up getting stopped. He could end up getting stopped. But Listen, I just think a move to 154 is the
if he can
best
maintain the strength and the stamina, carry that down to the weight, we're in a real fight.
He's got a chance. He's got
a big chance.
Got a big chance.
But everything goes against him because of the weight. The weight is a big issue, you know, and the fact that Conor's come out and said himself this is the last fight at 147.
It says a lot.
He's talking
about going to 168 to fight Eubank, and before he said, I'm never doing that.
Yeah,
so it just shows that, you know what, he felt more comfortable there. But listen, like I said, anyone that's making that much money, I can't feel sorry for. Go, good luck and do your thing.
Strip you down to 147, mate. You know, Denzel, you're looking a bit slim there,
yeah,
mate.
listen, I'm getting 15 mil, but I got to do it.
Talking of weights and Rolly Romero's kind of fights and all that sort of stuff, we've got Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero this weekend. Teo stepping up in weight. Just blanket question to begin with. What do you think of that as a fight, and how do you kind of see that one going?
I think it's a good fight, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight. Teo doesn't turn up when a fighter isn't that good.
Yeah.
But then saying that, I remember I said that in another interview and someone pulled me up. Shakur Stevenson was just too good, so I'm not counting that. But when he fought Sandor Martin and Cambosis and all the performances were a bit like sloppy. He's questioning himself because he can't flow off someone's work that he can't read. And he's not going to read Rolly's work. So he can't flow off that. I think it's going to be very scrappy. Rolly's going to try to bully him, make it as messy as possible. And then, but I still think Teo can win. I think he is the better fighter. And just before, that's another situation with governing bodies, getting the world title shot after a loss. But hey, what do I know?
Yeah, no, listen, no.
Don't talk sense. Don't talk sense.
Look in the rule books, mate.
You're
meant to have a win first.
But hey,
we talk about governing bodies.
Same as Ryan Garcia, but hey, what do I know? Yeah.
I'm with you on that Teo thing. I think Teofimo Lopez is a very sensitive fighter, as in, like, if his head's in the game, he's hard to beat. You know, you look at the Lomachenko sort of performances and whatnot. If he's switched on, he's on. If there's issues going in and around his boxing, he's got trouble in the gym, you know, he's struggling with training, the personal life outside of it, it affects his performance. I think we see that. So he is a very sensitive fighter. If Teo turns up, I think he wins a fight and wins it comfortably against Rolly. But you look at performances. Mind you, they've both been inactive, to be fair. Rolly Romero's been out for about 16 months or so as well. His last victory, was Ryan Garcia, but he's been inactive. Very difficult fight to call, that one. But you would maybe lean towards Teo, I think, that if his head's right.
Yeah, I'd lean towards Teo, but I just think Rolly would do everything to make it as messy as possible. The only person that has managed to stay away from Teo and not be overwhelmed by his physicality is Gervonta Davis. He was on the move and he catch him caught with that counter. Isaac Cruz fight, they both just basically clashed, and whoever caught who first won, and that was Isaac Cruz. But other than that, like you said, when he fought Ryan couldn't. He was overwhelmed by his physicality. Yeah. Everyone else, like Barroso, even though that was a mad stoppage, but just everyone else you see Rolly fight, you just look at him and think, what is going on? And then he gets in there and they can't handle his awkwardness. You can't read him. He's off time. He's
unpredictability, man.
And he's physically strong. Yeah. So that just throws everyone off. So.
Well, last topic we'll touch on is the fact we are still talking about this, but Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, and I think we should still talk about it. Everyone's acting like they ain't going to fill out a 90,000 stadium.
No, it's more just like the back and forth.
I think we're going New York, mate. I think you're going 20,000.
That's crazy. I don't think it does anything in New York.
That is the talking point, that there is strong rumours now that this fight is happening November 20th.
Do you know what's so mad? I'm going to say madness. I blame the promoters. Because Eddie and Frank could have put their heads together and made this fight. But you lot was waiting for Turkey's money, and now he's doing what he wants. Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, let's just be honest. He's doing what he wants because he's bought the fight.
Listen,
if I buy something, I'm taking it where I want to take it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it is what it is.
And I think the commercial value of that one is that New York is the middle ground for the global audience. That's basically what Turkey's saying. He's saying, listen, Eddie, Frank, if you can come up with this sort of money, you put a fight on at Wembley. You know what I mean?
And that's it, yeah. No,
you can't.
It's true.
Yeah.
You can't. I'm building a business in America, mate, like TKO.
And that's what it is, because he's come out, Turkey's actually shown what he wants to do. He wants to take over boxing and do what he feels like he wants to do. We can't be angry at him now, because like when everyone was enjoying his money, no one complained about anything.
Listen, I think that the long and short of it is that we finally get two guys in. Forget the fact that whether they're past their best, not past their best, whether there's world titles on the line. They both earned that. They've carried heavyweight boxing for the last decade or so.
100% easily.
If it's a fight that got away and we never saw it, would have been one of those ones that they've just been, you know what I mean? Like, who would have won? How would they have won? There's always going to be an argument. At least we finally see it, as, you know, in some form. You know, the fact you are only going to get 90,000 there if you do get it in Britain. The other 1 million, 2 million will be watching it on the TV anyway, I suppose. I mean, I'm just trying to flip it into a positive.
No, that is true. But at the end of the day, it's not like two foreigners are fighting and you're just taking to middle ground. Like one's British and one's American, and one's British and one's wherever they're from. Like it's two Brits.
Yeah.
And it's a fight that they're two British fighters that, as a public, we've built.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not me personally, but just like Brits, innit? Like
you're welcome.
Brits have the Brits have given these guys their profile. Whenever their profile wasn't built, neither of their profiles were built in America. Outside of Tyson going to, but he was already Tyson by then when he fought Wilder or whatever. But like they didn't build their profile outside of the UK. So it's two fighters that we've watched, we've adored, and we put out there. We bought their pay-per-views and. You know, through the money of the public, they become multi-millionaires and all these things. We want that fight here, please. Because like I think we deserve it. Because if it wasn't for the Brits like supporting these guys and putting them out there and obviously like lightly building them, not like we've literally, but you know what I mean. Yeah. This fight wouldn't be that big to go over to wherever it is, because we don't see Deontay Wilder in this mix, like the biggest fight in heavyweight history. This is the biggest fight in British boxing history. Why couldn't it be on British soil? But like I said, they didn't do what they needed to do, and now Turkey's taking it to where he wants to take it. So
I suppose that leads me on to the question. Like, you're waiting for your next fight.
Yeah.
When is that?
Not till summer's basically.
Not November the 20th, maybe.
Madison Square Garden.
Is that when it's running? Maybe. Well, I just know.
That's the rumours that are circulating. November 20th at MSG.
Listen, I'd love to be on that undercard. I don't care where it is. It could be on.
Suddenly
it could be on the moon. I just want to.
All of a sudden,
get a free ticket to the main event.
That fight should be at MSG.
Yeah, come on, we should go. That's the mecca of boxing. As soon as I just want a free ticket to the show. That's all I want. So if I'm on that card,
Turkey, if you're watching.
I just. On that card, boom, boom,
That's
I'm
it,
sitting
man.
there. But yeah,
Listen,
I should be out November.
I think Playbook Boxing, Turkey Al-Sheikh, I'm sure he's watching this right
now.
Man. There's your chief
Turkey,
support
you missed
right
out
there.
some good performances, man. I've been putting up some performances. You ain't having the Saudi card, man. But
there you go.
Let's go, man.
Brilliant.
Denzel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having
really
me, man.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.